Testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello. It's been about, let's see, almost a month since I've posted a video, and I'm like super anxious to film. So like I'm running out of breath because I'm getting super excited. I do this every time I haven't filmed in a while, so I'm like, okay. So for the people that don't know, I got COVID. So I did not film for like ever. And at first I was going to film like my whole journey with it. But as the days progressed, it just got worse. And I did not want to do anything besides, I didn't even want to sleep. Sleep wasn't even comfortable. And also I apologize, the lighting may be a little funky right now. It just turned like orange looking. So we're working with what we have. Yes, I have my tree up if you aren't all new here. I got this for Christmas, and I'm in my like beauty room, and I'm keeping this up forever. So we have to get decorations for it. Okay, so anyways, update, yeah. I had got COVID. This happened about 3 weeks ago now, maybe a little bit longer. I'm not really sure the time frame, but like, Brian ended up getting super sick, and I told him I was working that day, and it was on a Thursday, and I said, let's go to urgent care and let's get you tested for COVID and see if you have that. We'll knock that out of the, out of the way. And he's like, well, I doubt that I have that. And I was like, well, we can just go check and see. So not expecting him to have this in any way, shape, or form. We went to urgent care, and he comes outside, because I sat outside and waited, and he comes back and he gives me his paper and he says he's positive, and I'm just like, it's literally been like almost a solid year since this has happened, and I'm like, we get it, well, you get it now? So at this point, I'm feeling fine. Like, I worked that day, and I remember, I had a little bit of a cough, but my allergies have been like on a 10 recently, so I just was like, yeah, it's just allergies, whatever. And like a girl I worked with, I had gave her a ride home and stuff, like we're pretty close. So I was like, should I get tested? Do they want me to? And he's like, yeah. So I went in there and I tested negative. The doctor said, come back in a couple days, because by that point you probably have it. You're probably gonna, show like the symptoms and all that, and it'll test positive. So I was like, okay. So I called my work. I did not work on Friday, and I went back. I was going to go back. I'm off on the weekends now, so I was going to go back either Saturday or Sunday and get tested. By, I'd say, Friday afternoon, I knew I had it, like 100%. My symptoms compared to Brian's were vastly different. I want to say, like him, he ran a fever. He had like the chills too. You guys can go watch his video, because I'm sure he totally describes this better than I ever will. And so he had that, and then I'm trying to remember, he had the body ache super bad, and he lost his taste and smell for just a very short bit. It didn't last long at all. So it started off as a cough, and then I was like, ooh, my body aches a little bit. And then like, you just know that feeling when you're getting sick. So I was like, okay. And then I was super congested, which I still kind of am right now, if you can't tell. But, so I was like, okay. And my cough was like bad. I could not stop coughing. He really didn't have that. So I'm like, what the heck? And it was like a super dry cough. So I was like, yeah, I'm pretty certain I have it. So, there's that. And then, like I said, by Saturday, I knew I had it definitely. So I knew my work, how they handle it is I just wasn't able to work for 2 weeks. I had a quarantine for 2 weeks. So from the day I tested positive, which was on Sunday, I went and, I was miserable, and he tested me and he's like, yep, you are positive. And I was like, I knew before I even came here, but I just needed to have the confirmation to be off work. I was lucky and blessed because where I work, they pay like, up to 80 hours. So it's like 40 hours for 2 weeks. 80 hours for 2 weeks. They pay you, while you're off, which is amazing, because me right now, especially saving for a wedding, saving for a vacation and everything like that, and then like my bills, I was terrified that I was not going to get that pay. I was like, I'm going to be in trouble. So I got very lucky and blessed in that department. And what's funny is my work, the cutoff was the end of March. So like, I guess if I couldn't have picked a better time to get COVID, it was that time. So I'd say by Sunday I was pretty miserable. Brian and I swapped. I would sleep downstairs. Like in the beginning when he had found out, he was upstairs. So I'd sleep downstairs just because it worked out that way. It was just more comfortable, if I'm being honest. And then, so I'm trying to think. I did lose my taste and smell. I had like 2 mental breakdowns over that. I know first world problems, there are bigger things in the world that are more serious. But, you know, I guess for me, it was such a shock. And I was like, oh my God, people weren't joking. And then you do the worst thing in the world. I Googled it and I'm like, okay, so some people are going 6 months to almost a year without taste or smell. I'm like, what is the point of living? I'm just kidding. But like, for real, I was having like a mental breakdown thinking this is terrible. But then again, I was like, well, I guess if I can't taste or smell anything, I might as well eat super healthy and lose a lot of weight, right? Well, anyways, I'd say about a week, it took for me to start. I'd say after like 5 days, I could smell certain things. The only thing that I could taste at all in any way, shape, or form was the blue Gatorade. So I lived off of that. And that's all I drank. Well, I drank water too, but I drank Gatorade because the kind of person I am, I know I didn't want to get dehydrated. Brian got so dehydrated. I'm telling you, because he wasn't eating. He couldn't eat. He just felt so sick. He couldn't drink. And, I had bought him Gatorades. I had bought him like waters, like electrolyte waters and stuff like that. Like I had bought him a bunch of stuff, but his tongue was so bad. He was beyondwards dehydrated. I was getting headaches super bad, which to me, that's nothing out of the ordinary because I get headaches all the time. I feel like it's just like a sinus thing. So I was like, okay. But I definitely knew, when I lost my taste and smell, I was in denial about it. I was like, no, I'm thinking too much into it, but I definitely did. I do. Oh, Brian's outside working on the car. Spoiler alert. I do have my taste and smell back. So, yeah, he lost like 15 pounds. I want to say. Me, I lost like 9. So, I mean, eating food did not sound good. And, I think I forgot what it was. Yeah, like nothing. I tried different foods and I'm like, okay, well maybe I'll taste this better. And I tried eating foods that were like, had more seasonings than to them. I'm like, well, maybe I'll taste that. I really couldn't. Like I said, Gatorade was what I stuck with. So yeah, overall, COVID was miserable. It sucked. People say it's just like the flu. Everybody's experience is completely different because mine compared to Brian's was very different. I ran a fever sometimes. I'm telling you, the way everything had panned out from the day like Brian got tested with COVID, then I got tested. 2 days later, his grandpa had passed away, which you guys have known and have heard about. I've like filled you in here and there about how his grandpa's doing. So that was super unfortunate, and just having COVID, obviously funeral's out of the question, so I'm not going. And that's terrible too, because you want to be with people that you love, and here you are and you have this and you can't go and be with them. So that was really rough. That was very hard. And I couldn't imagine being in Brian's position because that's like his family. So that really sucked. And then I got COVID. And when you're sick, you're kind of like miserable. And I feel like me and Brian were like, we don't fight at all. I'm going to be honest with you. We just bicker here and there over stupid stuff. But I feel like we were at each other's throats when we were sick because, I mean, it just sucked. So that happened. So one night, I'm like, this was like probably day 4 to 5, maybe 4, day 4. I had some excruciating pain in my back, and I'm like, it was on my left side, and it was down like in my, like, I don't know, just like your pelvic area. Not your pelvic area, but like, I don't know, like right under, a little bit under my belly button. I'm sorry, my nose like is running. Okay, so yeah, hold on, where was we going with that? Okay. And then, so I had some excruciating pain in my back and like in my groin area. And I thought it was, you know, like the body aches. So I'm like, this is really bad. I remember waking up and I was like, wow, I'm hurting bad. I'm like hurting super bad. And I called my mom and I was like, I don't know what's wrong. It doesn't feel good. So Brian at this point was starting to feel better. So he swapped me places and I went and laid upstairs. I was laying on a heating pad and that was like the only thing that would give me some type of relief. Now at this point, I have been running a fever. It was bad. Like I couldn't fall asleep. I was hurting so bad that even falling asleep was horrible. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I don't think this is like part of the COVID. I have something else. Something else is wrong with me. So I'm thinking, I maybe have a kidney stone. I've never had one of them. So I've just heard horror stories and I'm like, Mom, I said, I don't know. And I said, could it be that? And she was like, honey, I don't know. It might be. And, I know, and I was like, well, maybe I'm just like super dehydrated. I'm like, but all I'm drinking is Gatorades to keep me, you know, going and everything. And so I was like trying to drink water, but I'm feeling nauseous now at this point. And so I'm hurting. And, then I I remember laying in bed and then I started getting like this crazy pressure in like my pelvic area. Like it was almost like a pulsating feeling. It like throbbed. And I'm like, okay, I'm laying in bed. It was like almost 2 a.m. and I called my mom and I was crying and I can be a crybaby sometimes, but like, I think I have an extremely high pain tolerance, and at this point, I just was like, I can't do this no more. This pain is like unbearable. It's hurting me so bad, and I had been using the bathroom a lot. So I keep saying at this point. So I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I don't know what it is. I've looked at things. It could be a kidney infection. I thought maybe because I used to get them when I was little. I was like, maybe it's a kidney infection. Maybe I'm passing a kidney stone. But I think I'm going to have to go to the hospital because like I cannot take this pain no more. And urgent care at this point is closed. So I couldn't go there. And then I told her and she's like, I forgot like the other symptoms I had. Like I had to use the bathroom a lot more. And that's when my mom was like, oh my God, I think you have a UTI. Now, I don't hear any people talk about these. I've read like ways you can get them. And I almost like hesitated to tell you guys because I was like, I don't want these people to judge me and think like I'm disgusting or I'm like dirty or something. But you can get them from plenty of reasons. Like you can Google it. It's very common. It's a urinary tract infection. And I had never had one before, at least not to my knowledge. So being super sick and then throwing a UTI on top of it, on top of his grandpa, on top of Brian being sick, I was like, I think I have it too. And I was looking at the symptoms and comparing them to other things. And I was like, I think I might have a UTI too. So my mom's like, you need to get these pills. And I'm like, okay, so obviously I can't go get them. So, I had like my mom and them, they got me these like, I think they're called Azo pills. You can look it up. They help with UTI and all that. So she got me them and I did not touch her. I just had them drop it off at my front door. And, I took them and it instant, like I'd say within, because I chugged water with it and cranberry juice and it did not completely get rid of the pain, but it eased it because what do they call them? I don't know. There's like a name like for the feeling that it gives. It's like a throbbing feeling in your pelvic area. I don't know any other way to describe it, but like, it was miserable. That to me, I'm going to be honest with you, a UTI to me was more worse than COVID. I would probably take COVID 10 times over having a UTI. To me, that pain was so unbearable. And I had stayed in pain for like 2 days trying to push through it, thinking it's COVID. And then finally I was like, I can't take this no more. I'm going to lose my mind. So the next day I told my mom, no, that was that was almost like a week into having COVID because exactly a week on Sunday was when I was like, okay, well, I'm reading online that these pills aren't going to completely get rid of this. I'm going to have to be on an antibiotic. So that's when I decided that I was going to go to urgent care again and try to get put on antibiotic and see if I had one. So long story short, get to urgent care and I did have one, which I knew. And he's like, I think he said, I forgot what he said, but I told him, I was like, yeah, I have COVID. I think I'm pretty much at the near end of it. And he's like, wow, COVID and this. And I was like, yeah, it's been pretty miserable. So I get antibiotics for that. I think they gave me like Bactrim or something like that. I just finished it. I'm doing pretty good now. Sometimes it doesn't hurt, but you can sometimes feel the little, like the little pain. If you've had one before, you know what I'm talking about, I'm assuming. I just try to drink a lot of water, which I'm really bad at drinking because, like I said, I'm a sipper, so chugging stuff is kind of like, is hard for me. So I just try to drink a lot of water and try to use the bathroom as much and not hold my pee. I'm gross, but I mean, I don't know any other way to say that. And I'm feeling pretty good from that. Completely, I don't have COVID, tested, negative for it and all that. I've been back to work. It's been a week. So after I have that, then Brian, I come back from urgent care, have that. I'd say maybe a day after. He's sitting there and he, at this point, feels really good. His symptoms from COVID and all that have pretty much gone away. He's, livening up more. Then he tells me his tooth is in extreme pain. I just wanted to, I was like, why? Why is this happening? So I'm like, okay, what can I get you for your tooth? Is there anything I can get you? And it was a tooth that he had previously had a root canal on. And again, I'm sure he went into great detail about all that, but I'm trying to make my story short. So he was in excruciating pain, which I'm super empathetic, and I felt so bad for him. And watching him try to go to sleep, that's probably the worst thing when you're in so much pain that you can't even sleep, and that's all you want to do is get rest. That whole 2 weeks I was off, I didn't sleep hardly any. I maybe slept 3 hours a night if I was lucky. I didn't nap or nothing, so that was hard. And I remember him telling me that, and I was like, this is just terrible. So I'm like, well, maybe you should go to urgent care. And he was already done quarantining at this point. Is that even a word? And he went to urgent care. They gave me antibiotic. He made a dentist appointment the next day, went and his tooth was infected where he had the root canal. He never went back and got a crown from the previous time, which is why this had happened. So they turn around. He has insurance and everything, and they said it was going to be like $1,100. And mind you, I don't think while he was off work, he was even getting paid for this. So I'm like, when it rains, it pours. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I don't want you in pain anymore. We'll pay for it. We'll get it done. So I think they ended up over like saying how much it was. It ended up being like $600, which is still a hefty amount. But I would have paid anything and helped him or if he needed it. Just to not see him in pain. And that's what sucked, is there was so little I could do at that point. I was so lifeless, and I felt like really, because I know like infections with teeth and that's something you can't mess with. You got to be careful because people can die from that. So I remember laying on the couch, just watching him for like hours, making sure he was okay, because he'd kind of like pass out for a little bit. And then, yeah, if you hear that, he's outside working on a car. So he has since got his root canal and he's doing great, and I will be on him like, he needs to get a crown, so he'll eventually be getting that, but he has to let that heal first. So guys, that was my journey for 2 weeks. It was quite literally one thing after another. If you have had COVID or know anyone that has it, I feel for you. And just know that it does get better. So that, yeah, that's kind of how it is. I had a lot of people ask me how I was feeling. I'm feeling great. Like I said, a UTI, I don't hear too many people talk about it, but I just want to be real with you guys. Like, it's real life. This stuff does happen, and that sucked. So if you've ever had one, my heart goes out to you. But a couple things before I go. I hope you all have a super amazing Easter. My nails, a lot of people have complimented them. I'm really like in love with these. It's hard lately, like nails don't like, I've just been bored with the colors I do and all that. And I'm like, I want something else. And this, I don't know, something about it just gives me life and I love it. Looks like that. The brand is Beetles and it's a gel polish. You can Google it. Not sponsored. But yeah, this is, oh, I got like Sharpie on this one. But yeah, super cute and I love it. Kind of Eastery. So yeah, super cute. I don't know how many times I could say that. And I know some people had wondered if my family had COVID. No, I had not seen my family and they are 100% fine. I think I've seen them once. And that was, I think, a couple days ago, maybe. And it has been way past the quarantine phase. So, like, I don't want any of you to think, like, I was selfish and seen them and was around them. Like, no, I did not do that. I stayed home. So, Gran is doing phenomenal. She's healthy as a horse. She's doing great. So, yeah, I know a lot of you guys were worried about them. They're all doing really good. My dad has yet to have his surgery. I think he finds out something this month, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a waiting game. I'll update you guys whenever I have any updates for that. And then also, I want to talk about, this is super random. My face is super tan right now. It may not look it, but it is. You have to be careful when you use this self-tanner because I tried it like when I first got COVID or when I was off work, when I felt like, okay. I put this self-tanner on without any moisturizer and I am sorry. I am so congested right now, but I put this on and I put way too much on and it looked really bad. So I recommend if you use a self-tanner, which you should buy it because it's super good. It's a little bit pricier. Use it with a moisturizer. And I just bought some super cheap moisturizing cream. I think I picked this up at Kroger, my grocery store. It's a giant tube and it is pretty moisturizing and I paid like $5 for it. Now, the self-tanner I got is by Coco and Eve. I saw a girl on TikTok use it, and her skin looks freaking awesome, and she's got that super sun-kissed glow. And it is just bronzing face drops. Now, when you open it, it smells good. It has this, it looks like that when you open it. I think you break it off from this inside. Now me, being the idiot I am, I'm like, okay, so I'll squeeze, she said use 2 to 3 drops, which I use about maybe 1.5 to 2. I think last night I used about 2. I was getting this and squeezing. This packaging is super hard. I was pumped, like squeezing until like very little bit was coming out. I'm like, I don't understand this. Well, if I, paid more attention, if you guys buy this, there's this little ball thing on the bottom and you just push it and product comes out. So if you guys ever buy this, which you should, it's super good. This is I think it's like anywhere from $20 to $30. I know it's like $25 to $30. They do Afterpay if you guys like that. That's always a good thing. You don't have to pay it all at once. But yeah, so a couple drops in my hand. I'll mix it with some of this and just rub it on my face, and I rub it down my neck, and I love the look of it. So yeah, if you guys want to know what self-tanner that I've been using, that's it. I haven't really been self-tanning my body just because I wear like zip-ups and like jackets all the time, so you don't really see that. Sometimes I use it on my arms. I use the Fake Bake Flawless Self-Tanner, but I do want to try other products from this brand because I really do like it, and it smells super good. But I think that's it, guys. I hope you all have a super awesome month. My goals, I'm going to try my hardest to film for you, to upload videos quite regularly this month. And yeah, like I always tell you guys, if you have any video recommendations or have any questions, I love answering them. Put them in the down bar below. I'm actually probably about to go live right now, so you'll probably see a live before this video. But for the people that don't like watching lives, which is totally fine, or if you stumble across this video, yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it, but I'm gonna go. I just miss you guys and love you so much. And thank you all for the well wishes and everything. Don't think they went unnoticed. I appreciate every single one of you. Even if I don't reply back to every comment, I try to. I get scared to reply back to every single comment because I know people that have done that have like, it's red flagged their channel and it's like disabled it and stuff because it looked like spam or something. So I get kind of scared by commenting on everything. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. Again, love you all, and I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.